بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. We are going to speak today about the anti-anxiety and hypnotic drugs, what's called minor tranquilizers. We have already classified the central acting drugs into four main groups: the psychotropics, the analgesics, skeletal muscle relaxant, and the anesthetics. In between the psychotropic drugs, we have the CNS stimulant, and today we will speak about the anxiolytic and hypnotics. You shall get also the antipsychotics and the antidepressants later on. From this lecture, we have to know how to make proper choice of anti-anxiety drugs, especially in old age patients and in hepatic patients. Also, how to make proper choice of a hypnotic drug, or how to treat insomnia. Also, how to make proper choice for control of convulsion in a febrile patient. And lastly, the drug of choice to make endoscopy. You know, the brain neuronal cells activity depends on a balance between excitatory neurotransmitters, which are the glutamate and aspartate, against the inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA aminobutyric acid. You know, GABA aminobutyric acid has a specific receptor on the neuronal cells, stimulation of which lead to increased chloride conductance inside the cell, resulting in a state of hyperpolarization and inhibition of the neuronal activity. We have to introduce for our lecture by hints about the pathophysiology of anxious disorder. The state of anxiety is related to abnormal regulation of neurobiological structures, the serotonin, the GABA aminobutyric acid, and the glutamate neurotransmitters. In addition to the abnormal regulation of the autonomic nervous system, the hypothalamic hypophyseal axis, and different neural peptides in the central nervous system, as the cholecystokinin and substance P and galanin. Also, we have to differentiate between what's called anxiety versus fear. You know, fear is an experience, is a condition when a person is faced with a real and immediate danger. It is present-oriented and can be adaptive, while anxiety it is an anxious apprehension and worry that is more general reaction that is out proportion to threats in environment. It is future-oriented and can be adaptive if not excessive. So anxiety can be considered as advanced stage of fear. In the brain, long duration of fear stimulation through the cortex lead to excessive stimulation of the amygdala, the nucleus present in the temporal lobe. It is classified into medial and lateral, medial central and the lateral central nuclei, and the basolateral amygdala. Long duration of fear stimulates the basolateral amygdala through excitatory amino acid represented by the glutamate, which manifesting the fear. Excessive fear stimulation lead to more stimulation of the amygdala, resulting into excessive stimulation of the lateral bed nucleus of the stria terminalis through glutamate also and corticotropic hormone releasing factor, leading to the sense or the pathological state of anxiety. Now, we have two uh, classes of drugs of these minor tranquilizers. The class of anxiolytic or anti-anxiety drug and the class of hypnotics. These are which are used for treatment of insomnia. As regards the anxiolytic, we have benzodiazepine and the non-benzodiazepine. The non-benzodiazepine include buspirone, beta blockers, those which can pass the blood-brain barrier like propranolol, and the antidepressant. Treating uh, just treating depression can alleviate the anxious state or the anxiety state of the patient. These are the drugs used for treatment of anxiety, while drugs used for insomnia include some benzodiazepine and non-benzodiazepine. The non-benzodiazepine include zaleplone, barbiturate, and ramiltion. Also, barbiturate can be used as anxiolytic. So we can include barbiturates in the class of non-benzodiazepine anxiolytic. Benzodiazepine and barbiturate are major two groups which act through the GABA neurotransmission. Barbiturate and benzodiazepine both have specific receptors adjacent to the GABA receptor. It acts through enhancement of the GABA receptor activity, resulting into increased chloride convex as if it is stimulated by the GABA neurotransmission. So this mechanism, they work as anxiolytic and as. First, we shall speak about benzodiazepine. This is the most important group of drugs used as anxiolytic and hypnotic. The benzodiazepine are many. They are classified according to the T-half. We have long T-half benzodiazepine represented by diazepam, clorazepam, clonazepam, which are metabolized in the liver through an oxidative mechanism, resulting into active metabolite. These three drugs, because of the active metabolite, they have long half-life. They prolong the half-life up to 24 hours. And so they are mainly used as anxiolytic and muscle relaxant. This is for diazepam, and anxiolytic and anti-epileptic for petit mal epilepsy as a result, in concerning with clonazepam. The second group, which has intermediate T-half between 5 to 24 hours. Here we have lorazepam, oxazepam, and alprazolam. Lorazepam and oxazepam are not metabolized into active metabolite, but in the liver also they undergo conjugation with glucuronic acid. So, because of the short T-half and the important central inhibitory effect, they can be used in addition to anxiolytic effect as anti-anxiety drug. They can be used as hypnotic in treating insomnia. So both lorazepam and oxazepam can be used in small dose for treating anxiety and a large dose for treating insomnia. While alprazolam, which has an active metabolite through oxidative mechanism, has relatively longer T-half and used as mainly as anxiolytic. The third group of benzodiazepine, which have short half-life, less than 4 hours, includes triazolam and midazolam. Triazolam is metabolized into an active metabolite, and so in comparison to midazolam, which is conjugated in the liver, triazolam has a longer T-half, both of which still have short duration of T-half and are used to induce hypnosis and amnesia in short surgical interference of endoscopy. These are two important drugs. Midazolam is preferred because of its shorter T-half. Amnesia in this interference invasive technique is important to have to keep the patient away from the bad memory surrounding this interference. As regards the pharmacokinetic of benzodiazepine, every one of which may have a specific character of pharmacokinetic behavior. Chlorazepate is considered as a prodrug. It needs to be hydrolyzed in the stomach. It is given orally and is of good intestinal absorption after its activation through hydrolysis in the stomach. Why? The benzodiazepine, which have an active metabolites, are metabolized in the liver by oxidation, while those of short duration of action are metabolized by conjugation in the liver and transformed into inactive metabolites. Lorazepam and oxazepam are exceptionally metabolized extrahepatically, so they are preferred in hepatic patients because they have no need for hepatic metabolism. 10% benzodiazepine have 10% of plasma protein binding, so they are weak binding to the plasma protein. Now, as regards pharmacological effect of benzodiazepine, of course, first, anxiolytic effect. Second, in larger dose, they produce sedation. Sedation. When we say anxiolytic effect, that is to say, to bring the patient from the anxious state to the normal state. While sedation, in which, with larger dose, in which the patient in larger dose get a subnormal state of alertness. Also increasing the dose lead to hypnosis and sleep. Benzodiazepine have muscle relaxant effect. Some of them has anticonvulsant effect and amnesia in large dose. So, the therapeutic use of benzodiazepine include anxiety, and this should not exceed 6 weeks of use to avoid the drug dependence, because benzodiazepine has a problem of drug dependence. In using benzodiazepine, the drug of choice is alprazolam. While in treating insomnia, oxazepam is the drug of choice, as we said. In cases of endoscopy, midazolam is the choice. Benzodiazepines are important drugs which are used as pre-anesthetic medication to prepare the patient for surgical interference, inducing relief of anxiety against the stress of this surgical patient. Also, diazepam and lorazepam are important drugs which can be used as anticonvulsants for any case of convulsion. And they are indicated in cases of febrile convulsion which affect young children. As regards clonazepam is a drug of choice used for treatment of epithemal epilepsy. As I said, it is an anti-epileptic drug specific for epithemal epilepsy. Now, for the side effects, of course, large dose of anxiolytic benzodiazepine reduces sedation, dysarthria, paradoxical excitement in some patients. Now, this is abnormal response to the drug. Dependence due to leading to addictive state because of the neuronal cell dependence on the presence of the pharmacological dose of benzodiazepine. Hangover means that at the end, after obtaining the anxiolytic stage or the hypnotic stage, the patient in recovering is still having residual effect of the benzodiazepine in the form of sedation, and this is called hangover. Rebound, that's to say, when the patient recovers and withdraws the drug, he gets again the same suffering. That's to say, the patient doesn't get permanent cure. This is the meaning of rebound. Amnesia, that's to say, the patient forgets some of his memory. It is a transient state and it is recoverable. Diplopia, due to affection of the coordination of the extraocular muscles, like the dysarthria, which is due to incoordination of the muscle of articulation. Tolerance, decreased drug response with repeated administration of the drug. Apnea, due to depression of the respiratory center, especially in old age. So, benzodiazepines are contraindicated in cases of myasthenia gravis because of their muscle relaxant effect, cases of severe respiratory impairment like those patients who have sleep apnea, is very susceptible for the development of marked respiratory center depression and the apnea. So we have to be cautious against use during driving a car because driving needs high attention. Also in patients of hepatic encephalopathy, because patients of hepatic insufficiency are very liable for hepatic coma. Benzodiazepine can enhance the passage into hepatic coma. Also, combination with CNS depressant will lead to more liability for respiratory central depression. Also, it is better to be avoided during pregnancy because of the fear of teratogenic effect, and during lactation because it passes through milk and leads to the sedation of the infant with decrease of the suckling power during lactation. We said that one of the important side effects of benzodiazepine is physical dependence. That's to say, liability for an addictive event. So, withdrawal of benzodiazepine may result in withdrawal symptoms or abstinence syndrome, like that observed with morphine. Abrupt cessation of benzodiazepine after prolonged use may lead to seizure, attack of convulsion. Also, we have to make attention that benzodiazepine of short duration of action, patient in between the doses may suffer from withdrawal symptoms. The patient may think that these symptoms are due to the original problem. No, it is just due to the longer interval between the doses. So to avoid the withdrawal symptoms between the doses, we have to decrease the interval between the doses. With the withdrawal symptoms of benzodiazepine include increased anxiety, sleep disorder, aching limb, nervousness, and nausea. It is found that the withdrawal symptoms are experienced by 45% of patients with discontinuing low-dose benzodiazepine, and while 100% of patients who have high dose. The short half-life benzodiazepine are associated with more acute and intense withdrawal symptoms than the long half-life benzodiazepine. They show milder and more delayed withdrawal symptoms. As regards the overdose of benzodiazepine, generally increasing the dose is generally safe, except if mixed with other CNS depressants. This leads to marked CNS depression, including respiratory central depression. The symptoms of overdose include hypotension, respiratory depression, and coma. Treatment needed is usually through supportive treatment. Flumazenil, which is the antidote of benzodiazepine, it is a specific receptor blocker of benzodiazepine, as we discussed in the first lecture of CNS stimulant of analytics. Flumazenil is rarely indicated because cautiousness with flumazenil use is important, because some patients which get overdose of benzodiazepine may have in combination tricyclic antidepressants, amphetamine, and other proconvulsant drugs. And so, giving flumazenil may result in uncontrolled convulsion, severe convulsion. So, we have to be cautious in using flumazenil in patients who have multi-drug combination. Also, we have to, before use of flumazenil, we have to get a good history of the patient if he is had long-term benzodiazepine therapy or not, because administration of flumazenil to an addictive patient may lead to severe withdrawal symptoms. So flumazenil is indicated only for pure overdose, acute benzodiazepine overdose. Also, we have to take care of the knowledge that flumazenil has a shorter half-life than benzodiazepine, 1 hour. Therefore, repeated doses of flumazenil may be required to prevent recurrent symptoms of overdosage once the initial dose of flumazenil wear off. This is for benzodiazepine. Now we pass to the non-benzodiazepine. The first of them is buspirone. Buspirone is an anxioselective drug. It doesn't work through benzodiazepine receptor. It works through the 5-HT1A receptor as agonist. It has a T half of 7 hours. It has a long delay. That's to say, the patient needs 2 or more weeks to manifest the therapeutic effect of buspirone. It is used in addition to as anxiolytic drug as antidepressant. It has many advantages in comparison with benzodiazepine. It has minimal residual effect, no tolerance, no rebound insomnia, suitable for elderly, that's to say minimal inhibitory effect on the respiratory center or nothing at all, no withdrawal effect, that's to say no abuse potential or no dependence liability. This is an important drug. We have to know the difference between these point of difference between buspirone and benzodiazepine, especially with alprazolam, as we said. The second group are barbiturates. Barbiturates, like benzodiazepine, has a specific receptor adjacent to the GABA receptor, resulting in increase of chloride conductance. We have phenobarbital, which have a half-life of 8 hours, amobarbital, 6 hours, pentobarbital, 4 hours, thiobarbital, only half an hour. These different groups of barbiturates have different duration of action. These different duration of action are related to many factors: the rate of metabolic degradation in the liver, the degree of lipid solubility of the drug, and the extent of plasma protein binding. This phenomena corresponds to the high lipid solubility of thiobarbital. Once injected slowly intravenously, it is rapidly distributed to the central nervous system, to the brain, and rapidly washed from the brain to pass to the systemic circulation, where it is redistributed into the fatty tissue in the periphery because of its high lipid solubility. This explains the short half-life of thiobarbital. So the patient recovers from anesthesia very rapidly. So usually this patient needs a booster dose of thiobarbital to prolong the duration of anesthesia. Usually this booster dose leads to more prolonged duration of anesthesia because already the fatty tissue have been saturated by the first dose of thiobarbital. In general, the other different types of barbiturates are of limited therapeutic use as anxiolytic or hypnotic. Why? This is because of the multiple pharmacological activities of barbiturates. They In addition to inducing sedation, hypnosis, which are obtained by sedation by amobarbitone, hypnosis by pentobarbital, the anticonvulsant effect obtained by phenobarbital, and the anti-epileptic effect also, analgesic potentiation. You know the difference between potentiation, the definition of potentiation, that in comparison with synergism. Potentiation means that addition of a drug, combination between two drugs of two different mechanisms lead to one of them lead to potentiation of the other, in spite of having no analgesic activity. Barbiturate have no analgesic activity. So when combined with the analgesic, it leads to enhancement of the analgesic activity. And as anesthetic, we use thiobarbital, and this is currently used. And also, phenobarbital may be used nowadays as the enzyme inducer in a newborn who is complaining of neonatal icterus or neonatal jaundice, to enhance the metabolism of bilirubin. All these pharmacological effects have therapeutic value, while barbiturates have additional effect. They have hypotension and tachycardia due to atropine-like action. The respiratory center is very sensitive to them, leading to very high liability of apnea, respiratory center apnea and depression. Also, due to the vagolytic activity, it leads to decreased gastrointestinal motility, and also in addition to decreased urine flow due to inhibition of the stimulation of the antidiuretic hormone secretion. Take care through, as we said before, the therapeutic uses of barbiturate, which are limited as anxiolytic or hypnotic, because we have more important drugs, but still indicated to obtain short-term anesthesia by thiobarbital or thiopental, and also as enzyme inducer for neonatal jaundice. So, in comparing benzodiazepine or barbiturates, both can be a hypnotic and anxiolytic, but barbiturate, increasing dose of barbiturate lead to more general CNS depression than that obtained with benzodiazepine. Barbiturate have shorter rapid eye movement sleep, and this is a disadvantage of barbiturate, as you know from your physiological study. Also, barbiturates have more desensitization effect of the respiratory center due to CO2 and more liability for apnea. Barbiturates are a strong enzyme inducer and of greater liability for drug interaction. Also, barbiturates have an autonomic activity, especially the vagolytic activity. Barbiturate has been agreed as a specific antidote, specific receptor blocker, while benzodiazepine has the flumazenil as a specific antidote. Importantly, barbiturates have a serious problem called porphyria, about which we shall speak a little heavy. We have to know that both barbiturate and benzodiazepine may have hangover, drug dependence, and idiosyncratic effects. So, in using oxazepam as hypnotic, you may be asked between benzobarbitone as hypnotic in comparison with oxazepam. Now, what's porphyria? Porphyria, you know, hemoglobin has heme component. This heme component is metabolized into porphobilinogen, and rapidly porphobilinogen is metabolized into urobilinogen, which is a safe component and easily eliminated in urobilinogen. In patients with porphyria liability, taking barbiturate lead to marked stimulation of creatine phosphate cytochrome P 450. This marked stimulation of cytochrome P lead to marked development and synthesis of levulinic acid synthetase. This levulinic acid synthase increase in amount help lead to marked transformation and rapid transformation of heme into porphobilinogen. So the patient will have a high level of porphobilinogen in his body. This is very toxic. Physiologically, only porphobilinogen is formed in small quantity and rapidly metabolized in neurobiology. When the patient has a high amount of porphobilinogen, his neuronal cells of the CNS cannot tolerate its presence. It is very toxic for the neuronal condition of before use. The lucky patient may have a small or minimal manifestation and so should be kept in his history to avoid barbiturate all his life, in addition to other drugs liable to induce porphyria. It is a fatal condition. These drugs which have to be avoided: hallucine in addition to barbiturate, carbamazepine. Hallucine is a general anesthetic. Barbiturate, carbamazepine, sulfonamide, rifampicin, estrogen progesterone, alpha-methyl-dopa, and sulfonylurea drugs. All these drugs are known as porphyria precipitating drugs and have to be avoided in this patient. The third non-benzodiazepine drug is zaleplon. It is a benzodiazepine-like hypnotic. That is to say, it works to the same receptor, but chemically it is different, totally different from benzodiazepine. It is a hypnotic used for a short term. That is to say, it is indicated for cases of patient with insomnia which find difficulty in entering to sleep, just at the beginning of sleep. Okay, and not for maintenance of sleep. So only indicated for difficulty to initiate sleep. It has many advantages than benzodiazepine: minimal residual effect, no rebound insomnia, suitable for elderly. It has no inhibitory effect on the respiratory center and no hangover. This is an important drug. So you may be asked to compare between zaleplon and oxazepam through these. Now the fourth drug is ramition. Ramition is a selective, it works away from GABA. works through melatonin receptor 1 and 2. It works as an agonist, selective agonist. It is used as hypnotic for treating insomnia, for difficulty in falling asleep, like zaleplon. It has side effects represented by dizziness and fatigue. Now, to summarize, this subject of anxiolytic drugs and hypnotic. To treat anxiety, the preferred drugs are buspirone, oxazepam, and alprazolam. For old age patients complaining of anxiety, buspirone is preferred than oxazepam and alprazolam. Patients having liver hepatic insufficiency, to treat anxiety, lorazepam may be indicated, and oxazepam for treating insomnia. Generally, in treating insomnia, oxazepam, lorazepam, and zaleplon are indicated. Old age patients complaining of insomnia can be treated by zaleplon or ramitune. Both are indicated in a patient having difficulty to fall in sleep, to initiate sleep. The drug indication as pre-anesthetic medication and endoscopy, midazolam and triazolam, and as anesthetic for short operation, diazepam and thiobarbital can be used. As anticonvulsant, like febrile convulsion in children, diazepam is indicated, and convulsion of tetanic patient complaining of tetanus, diazepam is indicated. Clonazepam for petit mal epilepsy as antiepileptic. Generally, away from drugs, to treat anxiety and insomnia, physical exercise is of great importance, away from pharmacological therapy. Don't forget that in treating anxiety in old age and the hepatic patient, we have indicated proper choice in treating insomnia or difficulty, especially for patient finding difficulty in getting sleep. We have indicated how to make proper choice. Treating febrile convulsion and drug indicated for endoscopy, you have to make proper choice in these different important conditions. Thank you.